I don't know if I've mentioned the idea of backplates to you before on a video. Well, that's basically what I'm doing right now. Is I'm creating some backplates. If you've done portrait photography or product photography, you'll be aware of what a backplate is. But for those of you who maybe haven't come across it before, the idea of a backplate is to capture the background of something without really considering the main subject. If you're doing portrait photography, as an example, you capture a backplate without the subject being in it. Our subject today is going to be this tree. And what I'm just capturing at the moment, before we get into the shoot properly, is several backplates. Because if you look behind that tree there, you'll see that, well, I don't know if you'll be able to make it out in the video, but there's a lot of dark clouds coming across. It's quite bright over there where the sun is going down, but you'll see that there are bright spots in the sky, and there's some areas of dark cloud that are moving across even as we speak here. And on the camera here, I've set my ambient light to really emphasize the drama of what's going on in the sky. Now, all I'm doing is I am capturing several images as the clouds move. So in my final image, I can create what I want in the background. What I've got in mind is to create, this is something actually that I started off really thinking back at the beginning of 2023. I really wanted to start to do something a little bit different, a little bit unique, and I had this idea of doing Peak District photography, but at night time, try to capture at the Peak District after everybody else has gone home. And this really is the first kind of entry into it. So a year after I had the idea, I'm actually getting around to starting to do it. What I'm going to be putting together tonight is a composite image. I'm going to use various elements from that sky to make something that, you know, is documentarily factual. It happened. It was happening here as I photographed. It just wasn't happening at one moment in time. And it's no different than doing a long exposure. You're just capturing a period of time in an image. That's all I'm doing. But instead of using long exposure, I'm using composites to do it. For these backplates, I'm just capturing another one there. I'm set up for the ambient light, and I'm still focusing on the tree behind me here. Everything on my camera is set up manually, and I don't want anything to change between these backplate shots and eventually when I get around to doing what I'm going to call the tree portrait. Obviously in manual mode, you'll know that that's what I'm shooting anyway. And I've got manual white balance, I've got manual picture profile settings, and even though these things can be changed in RAW, having everything exactly the same here on location will mean that it makes the processing job a whole lot easier. And now I've got my back plates, I'm just going to leave everything exactly the same and start to set up for the shot of the tree here. We're going to be doing something very different in terms of landscape photography. Because I'm going to be using an umbrella. I think I am. And we're going to be lighting the subject. I've got a fairly large subject to photograph, and I'm using a really small light. Now, that's going to be a hard light, and actually sticking this brolly on the front of it, this shoe-free brolly, is not going to really change that, because this is still going to be small in comparison to the tree, so it's still going to be a fairly hard light. But as I get into the frame to start lighting this tree, what a brolly is going to be helpful for is I'm going to point the brolly up. So the speed light's going to be shooting through the front of the brolly, going up to light this top bit of the tree here. Now on the sides of the brolly, we are going to get a spread of light, and that's going to be closer to the bottom of the tree. So because of the way the inverse square law works, I'll have half the power coming out of the bottom of the brolly, hitting the bottom of the tree, but the top of the tree will be double the distance away, which should mean I get an even spread of light across the tree for what I'm going to call my A light, my main light, where I'm going to shoot it from the front left, so over here. And then I'm going to fill in, use some fill light to fill in some of the gaps that I don't get. I should mention as well, because I'm using this brolly for certainly this first shot, this first bit of light is, as I use it, I'm going to get some spill onto the ground. So that's another reason for those back plates, because I'll just be able to mask out the light that hits the ground using one of the images that I've took without any light at all. So those back plates, those first initial 7, 8, 9, 10 shots that I've took there are going to be really important in the final shot. Right, okay, so now we've done that with the brolly, for that bit of even spread of the light. What I'm going to do now is just light the rest of it, just bare bulb like this. I'm going to do several different shots capturing light in different parts of the tree. And again, just by having loads of options, it means that in post, when I'm putting this together, I can sculpt the light, I can sculpt the tree, because some of it will be in dark and some of it will be in light, and I give it the kind of form that I'm looking for. What I might do now is switch you guys off so that I can use my phone as a remote trigger and just get this done a little bit quicker. So I suppose the next thing you're going to see is the finished image.